Sandy stepped down from the bus, her feet aching from another long, exhausting day at work. All she wanted now was to get home, take a hot shower, and crash into her bed. She paused for a moment, letting her eyes wander over her neighborhood that lay quietly in the valley below. At night, it always looked beautiful, streetlights glowing like tiny fireflies, stars scattered across the sky, and the faint hum of life drifting through the cool air. But lately, the beauty had been tainted. The neighborhood that once felt safe and peaceful now carried a strange heaviness, a shadow that refused to leave. It started with whispers, a rumor that a young woman had been murdered, her body found in one of the narrow alleys behind the old grocery store. People dismissed it at first, until the news confirmed it. And then, another case. Another body. Fear settled over the valley like a thick fog. Everyone talked about the killer, but no one seemed to know who or what they were. Out of fear, a curfew was set. Everyone was advised to be indoors before 8 p.m., no excuses. Sandy checked the time on her phone. 7:05. She'd make it. Probably. She tightened her coat around herself and began walking briskly down the familiar path. The streets were already growing quiet, doors locked, windows shut. With every step, the emptiness around her deepened, and the pit in her stomach tightened. She hated how the silence made her ears ring. By the time she reached the narrow lane that led to her street, her mind was racing with every story she'd overheard about the mysterious deaths. Her footsteps echoed against the pavement, louder than usual, making her uneasy. Then, a soft sound. A shuffle. Her heart skipped. She froze and glanced behind her. Nothing but shadows stretching from the dim streetlight at the far end of the lane. "Relax, Sandy," she whispered to herself, clutching her bag tighter. "You're tired. You're hearing things." But when she started walking again, she heard it. Another footstep. Soft. Slow. Deliberate. Her chest tightened. She quickened her pace, the footsteps followed. Her breathing turned shallow, the fine hairs on her neck standing straight. She didn't dare look back. She just kept moving, faster, until her brisk walk turned into a run. Then the sound changed. The slow, careful steps became heavier. Faster. Something was running after her. Panic exploded in her chest. She ran. Her shoes slapped against the wet pavement, her lungs burned, and tears pricked at her eyes as she darted through the winding streets. She turned into a narrow alley, hoping to cut across to her street, only to find darkness and a dead end. No, 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 no. A sharp, heavy breath came from behind her. So close. Too close. A hand brushed her shoulder. Sandy screamed, then everything went black. When she opened her eyes, she wasn't in the alley anymore. She was in her room. Her heart thudded wildly as she shot up from her bed, her gaze darting around in confusion. The familiar walls of her small apartment stared back at her. Her blanket was pulled over her legs, and the faint smell of antiseptic hung in the air, like someone had wiped something clean. What happened?" she whispered to herself, her voice hoarse. Then she heard it. Movement. She froze, her breath caught in her throat, and slowly turned her head toward the corner of the room. Someone was there. Leaning casually against her desk, his arms crossed, watching her with quiet concern. It was Bright. Her neighbor. Her cheeks flushed instantly. Bright. The same Bright she'd had a crush on for months but had barely said more than a polite hi to. When their eyes met, his expression softened. "You're awake," he said gently, stepping forward. "You scared the hell out of me last night, Sandy." She blinked, struggling to process. What, how?" "I was on my way back from the store when I saw you," he explained, his deep voice steady but edged with worry. "You were running, like someone was chasing you. Before I could catch up, you collapsed. So I carried you home." Her mouth went dry. He'd carried her. "Oh," she breathed, unable to meet his eyes. Her heart was beating too fast, her mind a chaotic swirl of fear and embarrassment. He hesitated, then added, "I stayed to make sure you were okay. You were out for almost an hour." Sandy swallowed hard, still trying to piece together what had happened in that alley. The footsteps. The breath. The hand. She shivered involuntarily. Bright noticed. Without thinking, he reached out, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. Hey, you're safe now. Whoever or whatever that was, they're gone. You're okay. She looked up at him, his brown eyes warm and steady, and for the first time that night, the knot in her chest loosened slightly. Thank you, she whispered. He smiled faintly, the corner of his lips tilting up. You don't have to thank me. Just, try not to scare me like that again, okay? Despite herself, Sandy let out a shaky laugh. For a moment, the fear faded, replaced by something softer. Something unfamiliar. She didn't know if she believed she was safe, not with the shadows still lurking outside. But for now, with Bright standing so close, his voice steady and calm, she felt like maybe everything would be okay.